Hey everybody, this is Travis again from FloridaManFirearms, and today we're going to look at two Russian-based pistols. Now these aren't true Russian authentic guns. This is a Romanian Tokarev and this is a Bulgarian Makarov. But for the video's sake, we're going to treat them as Russian. We're going to dive into the Tokarev a little bit along with the Makarov. The Tokarev entered service in the 1930s, I believe. It replaced the Nagant revolver. The Russians, from what I've been reading, one of the problems they were having with the Nagant revolvers is the 7.62 cartridge that it was firing was not powerful enough. As later in history progresses, we'll see an ironic change to a less powerful cartridge. But they wanted something with more power, and they came up with the 7.62 by 25 Tokarev cartridge to fire in the Russian 1911, if you will. Now, a true Russian gun will not have a safety. This is a Romanian example. This does have a safety. The true Russian guns have no manual safety, which was a problem from what I've read. They had issues with that. This served in World War II. The Red Purge before World War II. It served, I believe, all the way up till the 50s. When the Makarov came into play. The Tokarev to this day, in my opinion, is a very underrated cartridge. It's kind of a hidden gem. It is ballistically in the same power range as a .357 Magnum, and it has been known to penetrate body armor, especially some of these surplus stuff that's very high velocity. Believe it or not, this gun feels great. It feels very ergonomic. This was known as the Russian 1911. Holds 7 rounds in the magazine. A lot of countries copied these, and rightfully so, in my opinion. They worked. They generally worked with no issues. This one does not have a magazine disconnect, thank God. I think there are some models that do. I could be wrong. This one you could carry cocked and locked with the safety on. Or you can, thumb the hammer down, which, depending on who you ask, can be dangerous. Served well. The Soviets, from what I understand, they loved it. I just think as time progressed, it became an older design and a more obsolete design. Although the cartridge, in my opinion, is still very, very capable of self-defense today. Now we move over to 1951, I believe. We have the Makarov PM. This pistol is probably one of the longest serving pistols in the Russian military today. I've watched countless documentaries on Russian prisons and military police. They still use this pistol today in 2020. Believe it or not, Russian airliner pilots, commercial airliner pilots, are issued Makarovs because of all the shit that's going on with the terrorism and all that stuff. So that's actually pretty neat. The Makarov was also taken into space by cosmonauts, which is pretty cool. It fires the 9x18 Makarov cartridge, and basically the power of this cartridge is between a .380 and a 9mm. It's a good self-defense load. Believe it or not, here in America, back when these were $200 coming into the country, a lot of people would opt for a Makarov pistol as their carry handgun. And Hornady and I believe Speer make defensive rounds for this cartridge. So the Makarov, again, is one of the longest serving Russian pistols. Russia obviously uses a ton of different pistols in their arsenal, but believe it or not, this is still in their arsenal. It's still being used by prison guards, commercial airliner pilots, spacemen, cosmonauts, and police. It's just a very iconic pistol. And believe it or not, this pistol's so iconic, here in the United States, if you go to a courthouse, there's literally an outline of a Makarov pistol on some of the courthouses where we live here in Florida, where they have the no gun, no knife signs. For the gun, they have a Makarov outline. So that's how popular these have become. So that's a pretty cool thing to know. The East Germans, the Russians, I believe the Bulgarians, obviously this is a Bulgarian gun, and a couple other countries manufactured this gun. These are in the millions in terms of manufacturing numbers, with the East Germans, I think, being one of the more rare ones. The Russians did import a couple commercial versions of the Makarov. They had a 380 version, and they also had a double stack 380 version of their Makarov imported. Those are kind of really hard to find. If you can find one, then you're doing a lot better than we are, because we can't find none in our area. So, but that's the story, guys. These are some of the, the most iconic Russian military sidearms, in my opinion, the Makarov and the Tokarev. Tell me what you think in the comments below. If you liked what you saw, please like, share, and subscribe.